What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ready Set Recap, where we recap what's been going on. I'm Daniel, joined as always by my best friend, Skyler.
Hello, everyone.
This week in the news, we've got a lot of news for fans of the Fantastic Four, Superman, Star Wars, and the Oscars. Steam is in hot water, and the Oblivion remaster is not only real, but it's actually out. But before we talk about all that, Skyler, what'd you do this week?
Oh man, what didn't I do this week? I had to write a list of all the things because we weren't here last week.
Right.
So it's technically 2 weeks worth of stuff. And well, first we'll start off by saying that WrestleMania happened and we watched that.
True.
We could quickly mention some of the important things that happened. No one cares. But Seth Rollins
Yeah.
beat CM Punk and Roman Reigns with the help of Paul Heyman, who thoroughly bashed the other two in the cock and balls.
Yeah, I like the result of it. Like I like Seth getting Paul. I think that's an interesting take. And apparently now he's doing something with Braun Breaker. I assume they're going to become like a whole stable to take on probably the Bloodline.
Braun Breaker's also a Paul Heyman guy now,
Which is neat. That's cool. I think Braun Breaker as a Paul Heyman guy makes even more sense than Seth Rollins. So I'm totally for that.
He is and I apologize if this is a bad comparison, but he is the new Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
basically.
He's the
he
less
checks all those
problematic
boxes,
one.
except for the piss boxes.
I would actually argue that physically he's probably a better wrestler. Like,
he reminds me
like Brock is a better fighter, but
he reminds me of a young Brock Lesnar, like when Brock Lesnar was breaking his ass doing shooting star presses and stuff like that.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. I will say though, in stark contrast to a certain friend of ours, I'm not a huge fan of the low blow. It feels like I don't know. It feels like just like the easy way out of writing a heel turn of some kind. So the fact that we got two back to back in that match was like, you could have done something else. I don't know.
We have a friend of the show who loves a good low blow.
It's his favorite thing.
Jump up out of his seat every time it happens. And yeah, no, it's like they have their place. Are they overdone? Probably a little bit, but I don't know. For our purpose, it ends up kind of funny.
If not for our friend Abrar jumping out of his seat and screaming both times it happened, I think I would have disliked it significantly more.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Abrar makes a lot of things more fun than they actually are. So
look at you, Abrar. If you're listening to this, you're great. Also, we hate you.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Loser.
But leave a thumbs up.
And
comment and all that stuff.
Thank you. We love you. But we hate you. I think we won't go through like the whole card of it or anything, but I think like the big standout matches, like the women's triple threat, I thought was great. Although I do wish that Io had like more to do in it. It did still feel like she was kind of the back burner piece, even though she won of that match.
Yeah,
that'd be like my one complaint with that.
I'm just glad she won, and I think they were playing into the story of like everyone expected one of the other two to win, to take it.
Yeah,
but my girl Io, she won. Love to see that
for sure. And then the John Cena Cody Rhodes match, it went exactly the way that I was hoping. Well, not exactly the way. The result was the way I thought it would and hoped it would, where John won and got the title. I would not have predicted Travis Scott. No,
you weren't hoping for Travis Scott to come out.
No, although I will say him missing that punch and getting his ass beat was pretty funny. The look on his face was pretty good.
He did have an immediate moment of like, I'm sorry if I've gone too far.
Bro, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean all that. Yeah, I mean, I think those were like the three best matches of the card of both nights. I do feel like in general I'm a little disappointed with WrestleMania this year. I don't think it's like terrible or anything. It just didn't.
Yeah.
And it's also like kind of hard, especially for it, because I think last year's WrestleMania was particularly strong, and so this one coming on the heels of that is like, I don't know. Well, it just didn't feel like WrestleMania caliber to me, especially night one. Night one was rough.
We knew going in that a lot of the matches were just typical pay-per-view matches when they didn't feel WrestleMania caliber, like you said. And night two, I had a lot more fun watching. Another thing I'll mention for people who like wrestling, Randy Orton's surprise opponent was TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was basically a comedic match. It didn't go on very long. I think it was only like 3 minutes long.
It was really short. It was basically a squash match, which would be my one complaint about it.
Yeah, but hey, you know what's actually kind of cool is so Randy is geared up to go against John Cena. It
Yeah.
looks like we're replaying the one of the most famous rivalries of the past in Cena's final run, which is great. And I think it's kind of neat that like, oh, of course Randy should get a world title shot. He just beat a world champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you look at it through that light, it definitely makes more sense. I feel like Randy Orton is justified going against John Cena, and like, or
Yeah, of
for a
course.
title basically at any point. Like, he's a legend. He's the legend killer. Even that being said, like, if I'm TNA, I feel like I'm just like generally not thrilled with our partnership with WWE so far. Where it's like, okay, well, the one person you were using a lot, Jordan Grace, you kind of just stole her ass.
Yeah, he took her.
And then everybody else, you're either having go against your developmental brand in NXT, or we're putting our world champion up against a guy who, I mean, he's a big name, but he's not like a title holder or anything, and he's getting
Yeah.
squashed in 3 minutes. Like, that's a little rough. But
But
on the other side of that, Joe Henry got a match at WrestleMania, so like that's cool for
that's
him.
true. And I don't think TNA minds as much as you'd think they would because they've never, ever been considered competition to WWE. Like, you know how WWE was like, oh, we don't think AEW is competition, but then they treat them like competition.
Yeah,
They like that's never really. I mean, maybe when it first started, I wasn't watching back then, so I couldn't tell you. But like TNA's always been like, oh, it's just when people leave WWE, they go there, and then maybe they'll come back to WWE
yeah.
years later. Like that's what it was. So I think as far as TNA is concerned, it's like we got our championship on WrestleMania. like like our name is out there, and maybe we get some crossover views. I think they're happy with what they've got going.
I
But I
respect
but I
that mindset
understand
of
what
it, but
you I
I
understand
don't.
what you mean in
Yeah.
the booking sense of like nobody from TNA is booked to look as strong as you're higher up on the card
Well,
in WWE.
not even that, but like they're not on the rare occasion that they're even allowed on the main card. They get their ass beat like real fast. And the one exception to that was Jordan Grace, who did really well in the Rumble, and then they just hired her. So they were like, "No, you work here. Actually, you're ours now."
I will say, and this is news, breaking news from
Yeah,
last week, but it's okay. So WWE bought AAA,
the Mexican luchador company. For
the
people who
the
don't know, one
one
of the
of the
two
two
major.
main ones.
Yeah,
Yeah. Big lucha company in Mexico. They bought them. They'd been like looking and planning to sell for a while. So WWE, I guess, is the natural place because they'll do it. They got the money, and WWE is looking to expand, into international markets. They've been trying to set up in Europe for a while, and then
right,
buying this gets them like more in the door in Mexico, at least. And they announced a an event that they've kind of done for a while, Worlds Collide, which is like, oh, we have a whole bunch of things from different. It's basically Worlds Collide is supposed to be what AEW does with New Japan, the
the
Forbidden
Forbidden
Door.
Door. Yeah,
But like in the past, it's been like Worlds Collide, WWE, and then two other WWE companies.
right.
Just like okay, like NXT and NXT UK when that existed. It's like, well,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's
sure.
like our main brand is working with our developmental brand for a minute here.
Yeah. Or 205 Live when that existed.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think anyone
so
fondly remembers 205, or for that
just
matter,
the
NXT UK.
just the Cruiserweight Classic, that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So they announced a new Worlds Collide, and I'm like, oh man, we can do something. They just bought AAA the same
right.
way that AEW has Ring of Honor. So like, okay, we can do something there. You can have NXT show up, sure. They own Evolve, which is like a little smaller brand,
Yeah, it's
and
basically another developmental brand, but like even lower than NXT.
they're in business with TNA. So we can have a whole bunch of stuff
We can do
going
some
on.
things.
And then they showed it and it was just WWE, NXT, and AAA. And I'm like,
Mm,
well, I feel like you've missed the mark there.
yeah, it's a little disappointing. To be fair, like I never watched any of the old Worlds Collides, I don't think, and I probably won't watch this one anyway. So, but yeah, it is weird that they're like worlds collide, but all of the worlds are ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is what it is.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
It's WWE's constant growth and buying of other brands, it always makes me uncomfortable because like they basically
It's
destroyed
exactly
UK
this.
wrestling.
It's exactly that they did do that. It's exactly the same as when Disney bought Fox. It's just like, oh, cool, the X-Men can show up in Marvel now, but Monopoly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Although
it is what it is.
I would even argue that I think this is just within the wrestling universe, this is probably a bigger blow than Disney buying
Mm,
Fox because
mhm.
them buying Fox, like they're still gonna continue putting out movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas buying AAA, we don't know yet, and maybe this will be the exception. But every other time they've bought a company, they basically just fold in the talent and then shut down everything.
Yeah,
So
that's it's not impossible. I'm
hopefully that
hoping
doesn't
that they
happen.
just
The rumors that I've been hearing from like Cultaholic and some of the wrestling like news rags was that they're going to rebrand it as NXT Mexico. Like that's a
yeah,
real thing that they've been talking about, and I really
that's the
hope
fear.
they don't do that. But at least
Yeah.
then it would still continue to exist as something. So there's that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
It is what it is. All right, we've ranted about wrestling
yeah. What
quite
else
a
did you
bit.
do this week?
Oh, well, you mentioned that WrestleMania didn't feel that big and important. Something else that didn't feel as big this year was, at least according to some people,
Uh,
was I did watch round one of the NFL draft
oh,
last night as of recording.
sure. Yeah, I did too, but I don't watch college football, so I don't really know who any of them were. I was looking
No,
to
I
see who
don't
the
either.
Lions
So
drafted, and I was like, oh,
I'm
cool,
not
a
gonna
tackle.
waste
Yeah.
not gonna waste time. I knew going in that Jacksonville was looking to trade up that spot from like what were they 5 to 2, and then they did, and then they got a good player that hopefully they can do something with. I don't know. We'll see.
Everyone keeps telling me
But
Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. If they get some good people for him to give the ball to, they could do something. Assuming that that's true, that Trevor Lawrence is actually good. I haven't seen it.
he was good. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, and then yeah, I was mostly interested in who the Chargers were going to take because looking to strengthen our offense. And to my surprise,
Hmm.
I guess not really a surprise because the meme is that Harbaugh likes to run the ball. We took another running back, which we already picked up Najee Harris in the offseason.
Yeah, like free agency.
So it looks like we're gonna build something not dissimilar to what your Lions do with the two running backs.
Sure. Yeah. I
We
mean,
have we have I was kind
I don't know who
of
this new guy they drafted is, but yeah.
he seems good. He seems good. He seems strong. I was not hoping because I'm like, hey, they know better than me, but like maybe a stronger wide receiver because as far as I'm concerned, we really only have Lad down there. No offense to Quentin Johnston, but he ain't it.
Lad Lad McClunky.
McClunky, yeah. Um, all right, but that's enough sports and wrestling shit. Let's talk about the nerd stuff,
Nerd
shall we?
shit.
So I'm gonna rapid fire, and then we can talk about them
Whichever one's
as needed. Yeah.
like matter.
So I beat Indiana Jones.
Cool. Yeah, good game. Like that.
I beat Avowed.
I also beat Avowed. Um, I mean, I beat Avowed what last week? We haven't talked about it since I beat it.
I think you mentioned that you beat Avowed. I don't
Did I?
remember. I think so. But I beat South of Midnight,
I did not finish South of Midnight yet. I'm about halfway through it.
and then I've started playing Oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. But yeah,
I
those
I
are
put on my
damn.
gaming hat and I logged some gaming hours, let me tell you.
Yeah, all Xbox games. It sounds like
Yeah, okay, so here's interesting.
they've put some things out
One,
lately.
2, 3, 4. All those games are on Game Pass.
Yeah, well, they're all
I did
made by Xbox.
Yeah, that's yes. Did not purchase a single game.
No, yeah, I desperately need to go back and play Oblivion. We'll talk about that as one of the major topics in a minute here. But yeah, I'm in the middle of I think literally the dead center of South of Midnight. I just finished the two toe Tom fight. So,
Yeah.
but but yeah, where'd you land on Avowed? I think we talked about this a little bit like off mic, I think, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, so I mentioned that I started playing Avowed on the show a while ago,
yeah,
and my first take was like, I'm not overly impressed. So clearly I put in more hours and beat the dang thing,
true.
and I will say I kind of found my groove with it. I ended up enjoying more than I thought I was going to. So I'll give it a thumbs up. Avowed gets a thumbs up.
Hell yeah,
I think
brother.
it's got issues.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say all the games that I played have varying degrees of issues, but Avowed, I think the strength came from the game surrounding you with a small number of good companions.
Mm,
And although I will say, you know how when you play lots of role-playing games, the companions will have varying opinions, and one will be like, "I want you to do the shitty thing because I think that's the right thing to do."
yeah.
E- 9 times out of 10, I felt like all the companions in Avowed were all on the same page, telling you what the non-evil thing was to do.
I I agree and I disagree because I
Okay.
think I, a lot of the time they did agree, but the way it broke down a lot, at least in the second half, which I guess to be fair is the only time you have all four of them. It
Mhm.
felt like a lot of the time they disagreed, but both of them actually felt justified in their reasoning. Like
Sure.
the Vow did a really good thing where like even the bad choices, like the ones that I would classify as like the more evil of the choices, felt
Mhm.
like there was enough upside to them where you could see like why someone would make that decision. Like I think
Yeah.
specifically of the choice at the end of the
The
third
third
area,
section.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shatterscarp,
Yep.
where Yatzley and Gianna want you to do one thing that, in my opinion, is like pretty rough, but they justify it in a pretty strong way. But I fell on the side of Marius and Kai in that conversation for without giving spoilers, where it was just like, even if doing it this way doesn't necessarily like solve the problem, I feel like
Yeah.
it gives people the better fighting chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do think that was the better option, although that's not the option I did.
No. Okay. Yeah. I'm curious as to how we'll talk about it off camera because I don't want to spoil it
Or
for viewers.
we
But
can just mark a spoiler section here. You just be like, "Hey, we're gonna skip ahead if you don't want to hear it."
uh, sure. Let's give it a good quick like I don't know 5-10 on just spoilers for Avowed. Let's go for it. So
Okay.
so what happens if you blow up the ruins in Shatterscarp?
Oh, wait, you blew up the
I
ruins?
blew up the ruins. What did you do?
Oh, okay. If you don't blow up the ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
so
side with the evil skull faced demon lady.
so Yatzli and that witch that I granted never trusted, although I did take her option here.
Yeah.
This was the decision that I really don't know which one to do. But
Yeah.
like the evil lady wants,
She's like blow it up.
yeah, she's like, well, I'm like, I'm not gonna side with you on this one.
I
So
agree. Like I felt really bad siding with Ludwin on that, but
yeah,
I feel like she was right because so the choice is laid out to you is like, hey, these basically zombies are coming out of this ancient ruin, and it's got like a lot of historical relevance and like there's potentially some history that could be learned there.
yeah,
So like it's like a historical ruin, but like not to any living cultures. It's completely dead.
right.
So it's
So
like the choice is: do you want to blow this thing up and like stop or at least slow down the zombies that are coming out of it, or do you want to do
yeah,
like some magic thing that will completely sever the zombie curse in this area, but
mhm.
will cause a large chunk of the living populace of this land to just die?
they
Like their
they
souls will be
just
used as fuel for the spell,
yeah, they describe it as like the magic essence of those people who have it being ripped forcefully from them, causing them to die.
which is rough.
Yeah, that sounds bad. And so you mentioned that you were like, Yaxley and Giada are kind of for it, and Kai and Marius are not. Well, I had Yaxley and Giada with me,
Gotcha. I had
and
Yazli and Kai.
and so they were both like, I know. Well, actually, Yaxley was like, well, obviously, I don't want to destroy the temple because temples get me horny,
Right.
and
Everything gets her horny.
and um and I trust this spooky witch lady for some reason. I idolize her, and I'm like, all right, that seems a little biased. Then I was like, Giada, what do you think? And she was like, I don't know. And I
She
was
was
like,
just like, nah.
thanks for the help.
Yeah, Marius is kind of like that too, but he definitely falls more on like Kai's side of it, because Kai's argument is like this will stop the thralls a little bit. It'll like lessen it at least, and
Yeah.
it'll give the people of Thirdborn, the city in that area, the ability to like still stand and fight against it or run if they have to. And to me, that felt more, I don't know, fair feels like a weird way to say it, but fair, you know, of
Yeah,
like
no,
giving
that's
people the ability
makes
to
sense.
like basically make the choice for themselves of whether they're going to stay and fight or run or whatever.
So I chose to do the witch thing
Yeah,
because I was surrounded by people who were like, I don't know, could be fun. I'm like, all right, fine,
could be
whatever.
rad.
I got to be honest. So I said I found enjoyment in this game. I liked this game. There was still a lot of the parts where characters wouldn't shut the fuck up, and I just like annoyed. So I was like, I don't care what I do. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
So I kind of had that attitude to it. So yeah, I let them do their spell. Ludwin went and sulked in the corner, and she was like, "You think I'm gonna forget this? You think I'm gonna forgive you for this? I'm not." I'm like, "Well, I was gonna fight you anyways. I don't care."
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I ended up
then
killing her anyway. So
and then Yetzley's like, "I sure hope I made the right decision, and I mostly just hope it didn't kill my husband, whatever, my lover, as she says." And I'm like, well, I hope it didn't kill that many other people too, Yetzley. And then you go back to Thirdborn, the town,
mm,
and there's a lot of dead people around,
yeah. Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay. And all the surviving NPCs are like, it's so quiet, everyone's gone. And then the lady, the what's her name, the Rawatai lady who runs the town, she gives you a strict tongue lashing, like, what did you do? You allowed this to happen. Get the fuck out of my city. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, whatever. Goodbye.
The biggest negative to choosing to destroy the ruins is that when you get back, she's like not fully dream thralled, but she's in that state where she's like just sort of like mumbling to herself, so she can't
Oh,
really
she's a
help.
little crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
so then you when you get to the final fight, she's not
She's not
there.
there.
It's a
Oh,
different
interesting.
yeah,
Okay,
it's the
cool.
lady who when you first enter the area, she's like talking to the Adiran guard guy. It's
Mm,
her. And she's like, "Hey," and she tells you too. I don't think there's like a good way to fix Thirdborn's problem. They're like pretty screwed.
no.
So
Yeah.
she too, she's like, "Hey, like you might have made the wrong choice. Like
Yeah.
the person who was in charge is dead now, and now I
Well,
have
so
to do it, and I don't want to do it."
here's why I think that what you did still is the better choice is because right when you leave Shatterscarp, in between each area, you have a little powwow with all your friends,
Yeah,
and they're just like, "Here's what's going on." So, like at the camp, Giada was like, "Hey, so do you think there's going to be like negative things happening because the thing that we turned off with the magic, that's how dead people find their way to the afterlife. And
yeah,
because we turned it off, now dead people can't find their way to the afterlife. So did we make a bad decision?" And I just stared at her and I was like, I asked you to your face,
yeah.
what should I do here? And you didn't want to bring this up then?
You didn't say nothing about that. That's
I don't know the
rough.
lore of this world. This is my
Yeah,
first game in this universe.
I well, because I know from like reading documents and talking to some of the like side characters, this is also my first game in this universe.
Yeah.
That apparently in the previous game or Deadfire or something, someone's whole like evil plot was that they were going to destroy quote unquote the wheel, which is not a real wheel, but it's how they describe
Right.
in this
It's
world. Whenever
the
somebody dies, they get reincarnated, and
go
that
to
they
the
call that
wheel.
process the wheel.
Yeah.
So some god got like pissy and was trying to break the wheel so that people wouldn't get reincarnated, which is crazy. And then one of the things that they talk about early on in this game, and I think throughout like the whole thing, is that the living lands is cut off from the rest of the world like magically, and so people who die in the living lands are always reincarnated in the living lands. And it
Mm.
like it can't go back and forth because it is cut off like that. And so yeah, when they were talking about cutting off the thing there, I was like, well, what does that mean for this whole like reincarnation process? And they didn't bring it up.
I just I just wish when I asked her to her face that
Yeah,
she had said something.
especially because like she's the animancer, like her whole thing is the
Yeah.
wheel and reincarnation and like
At that point, I
essence
think I
magic
took
and all that.
attitude with her at that point, and I was like, "Well, that's more on you than it is on me because I asked for advice."
Yeah, that's fair. I will say that one of the things that I love about this game in terms of the choices are like after the decision in the fourth zone that's name I forget, but Marius's area, the
Right.
which I'd love to hear what your choice on that one was. But you're given the choice of whether or not to basically destroy this city because that will theoretically release people from it, like their culture tells them that they have to stay here and defend this thing,
Yeah.
or do you let it continue to exist and then hope that the choices that you've made lead them to allowing people to leave, like of their own volition? And I chose to not destroy the city because I was like, I don't like taking choice away from people. So some
I
people would
also
probably choose to stay.
I also did not destroy the city.
Cool. But what I loved about that is that you go back to camp after that, and it happens throughout the game, but this is the one that like stood out the most to me. Is you go back to camp after that, and your companions are like fighting amongst each other about how they felt about the decision. Because normally in games like this,
Yeah.
they'll argue with you, and they'll be like, "Oh, you made the wrong choice. This is what I would have done." But they never really talk to each other about it. And I
Yeah.
love that in this, Yatsley was like, "We should have destroyed the city," and Marius, who's from the city, is like, "You don't get a say in this. That is my
Yeah.
hometown. Those are my people. That is
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Yeah.
culture. You don't get to decide that like we're gonna destroy my home." Like,
Yeah.
even though I don't like being there and don't want to go back, like you don't get to make that decision. That's crazy.
Mhm.
And I love that they called each other out like that. I think that that's super cool because we don't see that in a lot of games.
Again, I think the companions were the strength. That's what
For
really
sure.
like kept me going.
I would say the companions and the combat. I think the combat feels particularly good for a game of this type.
Yeah, I got in the swing of it a little bit. I went sword and board. I was a sword and shield man,
Yeah.
just brute forcing through things because that seemed the easiest thing to do. Although I did mess with some other stuff a little bit afterwards. At first glance, I didn't really like ranged stuff like guns.
Yeah.
But I looked at the tree and it's just like, okay, the more you do, the more it just becomes like Skyrim. So it's fine.
Yeah, basically.
And then I did mess with magic a little bit, and I still feel like going full melee is the easy option.
It's definitely the easy option. I feel like you have to have a melee because you switch between your two sets. I feel like you have to have
Mhm,
a melee set.
mhm.
And then the second set is just utility. That's how it was for me anyway. Because I
Yeah,
started sword and board on one set, and then eventually switched to sword and sword because I was like, I'm not really blocking that much anyway. It's
what
better for me
what
to
were
just
you
do more
two
damage.
swords?
It was the ice sword. It was the fire sword that you were using, the one that you find is like a
Yeah,
unique pretty early on.
yeah,
And I just kept upgrading that. And then the second
yeah,
one was the ice sword you get from turning in the star metal to Marius's
yeah.
people.
Okay, so we did the same exact thing.
Uh, what a
We did the
way
same exact
to
thing
be a
because yeah,
follower, loser.
sword and sword and sword and shield, and then I got that other thing, and I was like fire and ice, baby.
Yeah.
So as
Uh,
far as I'm concerned, that's the canon option.
I mean, it was pretty good. It was a really good set. And then my second set was there was a pistol that shot electricity, and I was using that in my right hand, and I had a grimoire in my left hand, and that was my utility set because I was like, okay,
Yeah,
the grimoire was like one of the elements ones where it has a spell of like every elemental type,
yeah,
and then the electric gun was like, okay, I can use the electricity gun to like get through the doors that need the shock lock, or I can use my spells to burn stuff or freeze stuff or whatever. So like that was for all my utility things. Um, I will say one of my only real complaints with this game, because I love this game. I don't necessarily think it's like an all timer, but I love it.
right.
One
Yeah,
of my only complaints is that all of the companions have things they can do to help you get through certain areas. Um,
yeah.
but the only one that you can't replicate yourself is Yatsley's. And I
Yes,
was like,
please. Yeah.
you should give me a way to do Yatsley's thing in case I
There,
don't want to use her. Because I
there
ended up
were
using Yatsley and Kai
multiple.
most of the time after I had them.
There were multiple. Well, I ended up keeping Yatsley all the time once I realized because there were like two times in a row where I went to do a quest and there was something behind an illusionary wall and I had two people that couldn't help me with that. I was
Yeah,
like, well, all right,
yeah,
I guess I'll grab Pink Lady.
and everybody else's ability you can, because like Kai can start a fire, well, so can I. Giada can do
Yeah.
electricity, so can I. Marius actually don't really know what he could do.
I don't think he has anything actually.
His power is that like he can show you where plants and stuff are, like where collectibles
Cool.
are, which is like
Thanks,
useful, I
dude.
guess, but I don't need all that. So
Hey,
yeah, I
you know
ended up
what else
using the
does that? The
Yatsley a lot.
mini map.
Yeah, but I will also say, if you didn't have Yatsley with you, like it would be annoying because you'd have those illusionary walls that you couldn't get through. 99% of the time, it's just like a chest with some materials in it, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think there was one that I got to that was like I have to go through here for a quest and I just don't have the right person, which is annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was a side quest, I mean, if there's a main story quest that you need her, it tells you you need her, so that's fine.
True, 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 true. Well, I think that's enough Avowed talk. We've done a good job on this one, but yeah, I really like this game, and it sounds like you certainly warmed up on it quite a bit
Yeah,
by the end there.
I can't. Yeah, I would give it a thumbs up.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. In terms of what I've been doing this week, honestly, it was a lot of that same stuff. I also was playing South of Midnight, but we'll talk about that. I think once I finish it, probably next week. Dang, I think we basically covered all the things that I did this week too, between Avowed and WrestleMania, of like things that are worth talking about. Um, unless you want to talk about, unless you want to
I
talk
mean,
about,
we can do a little first impression of South of Midnight if you want to do that.
no, no, I'm
All
going to
right.
talk about something stupider.
Okay,
Um,
hit me with that stupid.
so a while ago in one of our group chats, someone posted a picture of some McDonald's toys that we all had.
Okay,
Yeah, that we all had, and no one could remember what they were from or why they existed. It turns out that they're these little knights from a Power Rangers, like, I want to say knockoff, but it's by the same guy, called
Saban.
Mystic Knights of Tir or Tir more specifically, which is just a Irish ass Power Rangers where the Power Rangers are knights from a kingdom called Kells. I found this entire show on YouTube, and I have now watched the first like 30 some odd episodes out of 50. It did not last long.
Mm.
It's pretty fun. Like, it's dumb. It's
Mm.
dumb, and like the CG on it is terrible, and the acting's not great. It's pretty fun. I really like the characters in it. The main guy, his name is Roan or Rowan. It's spelled like Rohan, like from Lord of the Rings. He's genuinely really funny, and the main girl in it, Deirdre, who's just one of the team and also the princess of the area, she like the two of them together are great, and then the rest of the cast is like doesn't really do it for me because their powers are like elemental in nature. So like Rowan's power is fire, so he says fire within me and he transforms. Deirdre has air. There's a guy called Angus who has earth, and a guy called Ivar who has they say his power, he says water, but he shoots lightning, which is like the opposite, but whatever. I guess they're like thematically similar in like storms or something, I don't know. But yeah, but Ivar and Angus are like kind of whatever. Especially Angus. Like, Angus is funny as a character, but like him in a fight is useless because he has like his weapon is a flail. Like, it's a ball on the end of a chain. And because you can't really like hit people with it because it's not
Yeah,
like a show, it's not like a combat show, it's a kids show.
right. Yeah,
So he ends up just like spinning it, and then every time it like hits the bottom of the swing, a big stupid CGI rock flies out of it and hits a guy in the face like it's a gun.
that's cool.
It's kind of cool, but it looks really stupid. Anyway, it's like, is it a good show? No, but I'm really enjoying it. I will probably finish it. They introduced their like quote unquote Green Knight in like episode 20 something. His name's Gareth, and he's the fifth Mystic Knight. He is the Mystic Knight of Forests, I guess. And he has two axes as his weapon. And does he hit people with them? Not often. He like shoots lasers out of them. And then after 5 episodes, he disappears and has not been seen for like 6 episodes, and no one has addressed
Oh,
it. And I don't know what happened to
oh.
this actor. I don't know what happened. If you know what happened to Gareth and Mystic Knights, which you don't, but if you do, let me know because I'm concerned for his well-being.
Well, didn't that happen in Power Rangers to Tommy as well in Mighty Morphin? He
I
showed
truly
up
couldn't
and
tell you.
he showed up as a bad guy, and then he stopped being a bad guy, and then he left, disappeared, whatever, and then he came back for the movie. I don't know. I don't know if our friends that are massive Power Rangers heads listen to this, and I
Yeah,
don't need you to correct me. It's okay.
yeah.
I know I'm wrong.
I will say for Gareth and Mystic Knights, it is the exact same arc. So he shows up as like a prince from a allied nation, and he shows up because he's supposed to marry Deirdre, and she's not interested in it because she has a crush on Rowan, and Rowan has a crush on her. But like, it's a kid show, so
Deirdre's a
whatever.
lady.
Deirdre's a lady. Yeah, she's the princess.
I
She's great.
see. My only point of reference to these things are the toys that I got from McDonald's, as we talked about. And I had, was his name Lugad?
Lugad, who I
The
have not
big.
met yet. He's one of
Oh,
the he's a villain who shows up like right at the end of the show. Apparently, he was going to be big for like season two.
ooh. Okay, cool.
Um,
And then I
yeah.
had what is this? Torque? Is his name Torque?
Torque is he's the leader of the enemy faction's army. So the enemy faction is led by Queen Maeve, who's like basically, I want to say Evelyn. That's not correct. What is her name from Power Rangers?
Rita Repulsa.
Rita Repulsa. So imagine if they swapped the roles of Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed, where Rita
Okay,
Repulsa is the leader and Lord Zed, who's more of like a melee fighter, he's underneath her, and that's kind of the dynamic.
interesting. And then yeah, I had Deirdre, who I always thought was just some femboy in the way that the toy looks
Nope,
like,
she is
but
the Princess of
apparently,
Kells.
okay, all right. Well, that's a little disappointing, but okay.
No, she's great. Honestly, she might be my favorite character in the show. She's like genuinely really good. There's also a
Interesting.
fairy who didn't get a toy in that set called AD, and she's like super jealous of Deirdre because Rowan has a crush on Deirdre and AD has a crush on Rowan. There's a lot. The romance of this show is like weirdly front facing in a way that I don't remember it being in Power Rangers when I watched it as a kid, but also maybe I was just oblivious to it because I was a child. So I don't know, a lot of
This
fun.
is this is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I watched
Just
a random show from the early 2000s that no one has ever heard about or probably cares about.
Well, I'll dig through all my random crap boxes in the garage and I'll find this Lugad figure and I'll put it up on a shelf where everyone can see it when
Yeah,
they come over.
definitely find all of your Mystic Knights toys that you have and
Only got
display
the
them
three,
proudly.
but yeah, all right.
It's weird that you got those ones and not like, well, I guess Deirdre's one of the Mystic Knights, but it's weird that you didn't get because I think they did the full set of the original four Mystic Knights, and you ended up
It's
with
it's,
a late tier villain and Torque.
it wasn't in my hands. It was that was up to Ronald.
Damn it,
Ronald
Ronald.
decides that.
Well, let's move on to the news finally. Skyler, we got some really big news in the world of movies. And I think we should start with the
No,
one that
that
I
can't be
think,
true. I would have heard of it.
well, I think we should start with the one that I think will be the shortest one to talk about, which is that after much conversation and a lot of people very much asking for it, they're finally adding a Best Stunts Oscar, um, but not until 2027, which is weird.
That's how they tricked Tom Cruise into keep going.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because it's like, uh, to be fair, I don't know exactly how this is going to work. Maybe you know better than me. Because it's like the Super Bowl, right? Where the Oscars cover the year before. So is this, when they say the 2027 Oscars, do they mean the one that is in 2027 but covers movies from 2026? Or do they mean the one in 2028 that will cover years or movies from 2027?
I would assume they mean the one that airs 2027 that will cover 2026.
Okay.
That's what I assume.
I would hope so. That definitely feels less crazy. It's still weird that it's not this year, but maybe they felt like, oh well, people didn't know that they were going to be eligible this year. But also, it's like
I
whatever, man.
assume it's partially that, and then the process of like, because I you have to submit if you want an Oscar nomination. You have to be like, oh, we want to throw our hat in the running. I think I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
you
I've
do.
never done it. I've never had to do it, but I think that's how that works. So there's a hunk of films that have come out that would technically be within the window that didn't get that chance, I guess. I don't know.
Could you not submit like after the fact? You have to submit like before the movie comes out or something.
I have no idea.
Okay,
I got no clue.
that's fair. I I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. I think it's great that they're finally doing this. This is something that I know people have been wanting for a really long time, and frankly, I'm surprised has not already existed. And stunts are a huge part of movies, and it's the part of the movie in which people are most putting themselves at risk. So it's good that
Yeah.
they're finally getting like recognition.
It is a large chunk of people working on films that were not getting recognition. So I'm glad that finally uh that is the case, that they can be recognized and rewarded to some extent. My attitude towards the Oscars, it has always been like, well, these award shows don't really matter and it's all bias politics, whatever. So if
Sure.
somebody
Yeah.
wins, good for them. But if you don't win, don't sweat it. So I think just getting nominated, recognized would be neat. So good for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. They definitely deserve it. Um, but moving swiftly on, Skylar, did you catch the brand new trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps?
I did watch that.
Yeah. How you feeling about it?
I think it looks cool.
I think it looks. I think it looks really good. And I'll let you talk about it first because you're more the movie guy. There's something about it that makes the vibe feels off, and I have theories, but I
Ooh,
want you to talk about it
ooh.
first.
I don't know. I didn't pick up on that. I did only watch it once, and I think I watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
But from what my memory serves, we see Silver Surfer in it. We get,
E,
I mean, more looks at the Four,
the four.
the vibes of the times, and oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have to say spoiler if it's in the trailer?
No.
Okay, Sue's pregnant.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that because, well, for two reasons. Number one is their children in the comic books I hate. Franklin Richards sucks ass. I think he's just a bad character. Full
Mm,
stop. I don't care
mhm.
for him.
All right.
And he's like exclusively a multiversal character, and so I'm kind of just like, and I'm done with the multiverse also. So on top of the fact that I don't like him because he is like the most Mary Sue ass Mary Sue anyone's ever seen.
Ooh.
Um, but yeah, but then the other part of it is I'm like, I hope that that doesn't mean that she like doesn't get to fight a ton of the movie. I know we see like at least one shot in the trailer for fighting, but I hope it's not just like, oh well, I'm pregnant, so I'm gonna be off on the sidelines, not really being a part of this team. I hope that that's not the case, but it could be. I wouldn't be. I would be disappointed but not surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. What vibes would you say are off other than that?
That to me, that's not even the vibes that feel off. This movie, this whole trailer, it feels like they're gonna lose. And I like it feels very
Okay,
strongly to me that the Fantastic Four are going to lose this fight, and their planet is
okay.
going to be destroyed. That is what the trailer feels like.
I see what you're saying. So okay, so it's not even because I would say, in theory, seeing the heroes go up against insurmountable odds that they could probably lose. That's probably what the trailer's supposed to do. But what you're saying
Is that it?
is
It feels like it is.
you truly believe they're going to lose because we have to fold the universe into another universe for bullshit.
Yeah, but like also
Yeah.
the trailer like really heavily supports that. Like it really feels like they're going to lose and then come into the MCU as these like scarred PTSD heroes.
Which is not what the Fantastic Four should be.
It's not what I like want for sure. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. It's also possible that like this movie ends up not mattering at all, and that when they do the post Secret Wars merger, so to speak, that they don't even remember their previous life. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. But I don't know. Here's the thing. I think the movie looks great. I think aesthetically it looks great. I love the like retro futurist style. We've talked about this before. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
suits look like kind of whatever, but like accurate.
I
Um,
really like the suits
I
actually.
think they're fine. Yeah, I'm not against them. I just think that they're like whatever. I think the thing looks great. The effects on the Silver Surfer look bad, but I think that hopefully is just like a first pass, and they'll maybe go over it again. Uh, but yeah, I think this movie looks like it's going to be really good. It's just like the vibes of it are like, oh, they're setting us up. It feels like they are trying to soften the blow for when they inevitably lose. That's what this trailer feels like to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I share that concern. I think everything that these Marvel movies have taught me is that we'll beat the bad guy and then get sucked through a wormhole or something. Like I don't think it'll be necessarily connected. Especially if you look at it through wrestling terms. Um, if they lose in their debut, then no one's gonna care.
True. I don't think that stops
Uh,
them from doing it though.
but other than that, I think are people still mad about the female Silver Surfer?
I mean, probably. But is it people that we
Those,
care
but those
about? Like,
those those
no.
aren't
I
those
did
aren't
see a
people.
theory that I kind of like though, which is that they didn't do the Silver Surfer to like be different or because like we need more girls in this. Which honestly, that second one I would have been fine with because personally I think the Silver Surfer's kind of fucking lame anyway. It's just a dumbass riding.
Ah,
It's a
come on,
dumbass in a skin suit riding around on a
come
surfboard. Like he
on,
looks like a
come
fucking idiot.
on, come
But
on.
the like theory I heard is that he or she, sorry, has been added to this movie as a love interest for Johnny. And like, I don't know, that could be interesting if that's true. I don't necessarily like
Johnny
think I need a love interest for Johnny, but I always love a good love story, so
Johnny notoriously bones aliens.
sure. Yeah. And if he wants to bone a lame ass alien on a lame ass surfboard, then that's his choice. That's.
Although I think the character that is the Silver Surfer now is like supposed to be the wife of
Yeah,
the Silver Surfer we
yeah.
know. So I don't know.
But if he's not in this universe, then like, she could date somebody else.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
strong, independent surfer. She could date a fire guy if she wanted.
Sure, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny that in the trailer we see Johnny fly up into the outer atmosphere with the Silver Surfer, and then the Silver Surfer knocks him down. It's like this is the only thing people remember from the last Silver Surfer movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like the aesthetics. I really like the family vibe. I know that I'm not saying anything new. Everyone says that about the Fantastic
Sure.
Four.
Yeah.
I think this cast is great. Um, I really like the idea of all these normal citizens in this world. They're like, something bad's happening, and we all turned to these four people who, sure, are superheroes, but like they're out of their depth here.
Yeah. They're
I
not.
think,
This sounds crazy because they fight Galactus all the time. But like, if you looked at them and you looked at their power sets, like there is nothing about that that's like, oh yeah, they can save the planet. Like it's a guy
yeah,
who's rocks, it's a guy who's fire, a stretchy dude, and a girl with shields. Like I know that Sue Storm gets crazy powers in the comics, and like I guess probably she'll get them here too. But
yeah,
like against a guy who eats planets, you got the rock guy and the
yeah,
fire
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Like, come on.
I I don't know. I'm excited for this one more so now than I was before. I think
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one. I mean, this statement might bite me in the ass. We'll see. But I feel like this this feels like a real movie. Whereas,
sure.
sorry, Captain America didn't.
Captain America didn't. Yeah, Captain America. And I didn't even hate Captain America. It wasn't
No, I
good.
didn't hate it either.
It was just kind of
It,
like I
but
walked in and I was like,
it
yep,
was
that
like
movie happened.
it was like if I had watched that movie on Disney Plus at home in my bed, I would have got the same reaction as I did watching it in the theater.
Yeah, if I had watched that movie on Disney Channel, I would have felt the same reaction.
Yeah. And I'm kind of holding out hopes for Thunderbolts. Hopefully that's good. I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
If it's not
yeah.
good, it's not going to ruin my life, so whatever. But this one, man, I've always loved the Fantastic Four, and I've always, it seems good. I'm excited for this
See,
one.
that'll be the fun difference is that I've never cared about the Fantastic Four at all. I have never seen anything in which they were even like entertaining. Like the original movies were like fine, but the Fantastic Four in it was just kind of whatever. Like I didn't care
Yeah,
for them really.
sure.
So this has the potential of being like the first time that the Fantastic Four like means literally anything to me. And I think that there's a good shot of it. Like I like all these actors and I think the trailer is like
Yeah.
really building up something interesting here. But I'm going in with like very
You're
middling
con-
expectations of like the
you're
Fantastic Four is a
concerned.
lame team. Like that's what my experience has been. So if they can make something good out of this lame team, it's
Yeah.
exciting for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what people's expectations with Guardians of the Galaxy was back in
Exactly.
2014.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "We don't know what this is. They got a raccoon. That's it." And then it became the trilogy of like some of the greatest movies in this universe, right? So,
Yeah. Well, and
but yeah,
yeah. And speaking of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the man who made it just celebrated Superman Day in pretty big style. James Gunn. A lot of people were talking about like, oh, are we finally gonna get like a full proper trailer for Superman on Superman Day? We didn't, which is a little disappointing considering how close we are to this movie coming out. But at this point, I feel like we've seen so many little like clips and stuff that it's probably like a full trailer
yeah.
by itself at this point.
I'm
We're
I'm gonna
on
be
trailer
honest.
launch. We're gonna get a Superman trailer any day now, frankly.
I'm gonna be honest. This really doesn't work with the concept of this show that we're
Uh,
doing. But if another trailer comes out now, I don't think I want to watch it. We're only like 2-3 months away.
yeah, I mean, I'll definitely watch it. I assume at this point it'll probably just cover a lot of the same stuff we've already seen in these like BTS clips.
Yeah,
But some things that they showed off on Superman Day are a couple of new toys that give us a little bit of a glimpse into what this movie's going to be. They do show Lex Luthor in a purple suit, which people are like really excited about because they're like, oh my god, he's finally doing his like actual color scheme. I don't know. There's a toy for the kaiju that you see in the trailer, and I guess he gets cut open and has like goo in him as a toy. So I guess maybe that'll be a thing we can look forward to.
that sounds like a James Gunn
He's a
thing.
real gooey boy.
Yeah,
And then something that people are really taking note of for one reason or another is that the Superman robot voiced by Alan Tudyk on
yeah,
his toy box is just called Superman Robot 4. And people were like, that's a little disappointing that he's not called Keelix, but whatever.
yeah. They're doing a.
Maybe it just
They all
doesn't
they all
say it
got
on the toy,
numbers.
I guess. But I don't know why they
Yeah,
would be
maybe
keeping
that's
that a secret. You know what I mean?
possible. Well, maybe just like the toy company didn't know. I'm assuming
It's
that's
possible.
Mattel. Does Mattel still do DC? I don't know.
I don't know. But then we did
Got it.
actually get a little BTS video, and we got some interesting things out of it. We didn't get like a lot of like new looks at the movie, but we got some really exciting things, I think, about like the production of the movie. Like for example, a lot of the effects are completely practical, and a lot of the sets are mostly practical, which is really cool. Like the Fortress of Solitude, that's a mostly practical set. Like they made big ass crystals, just slapped them
That's
around the stage instead of just
that's
making
really
it all on
neat.
the sound or whatever.
And it's not entirely surprising when you look at how much of the stuff from all three Guardians of the Galaxies were practical sets. Yeah, there's green
Yeah,
screens in the back and stuff, but like I didn't they make the High Evolutionaries like not his ship, but like no, I think it was a ship. But like they had a big soundstage that was like on a pressure thing that like it tilted. Like for a Marvel movie,
yeah,
you
yeah.
wouldn't
I think
expect that nowadays.
no, yeah, but it's really cool. Like because they did that. The Daily Planet's a real set. They're filming it like in a train station to make it look really big and ornate, which is great because I feel like that's the vibe of Metropolis. I think they're really nailing that. Um, they also did like a whole wave of interviews with like the cast of the Daily Planet bullpen, which is interesting. It looks like every week leading up to the release, they're going to do more interviews with more of the like side cast. So next week, there's going to be interviews with Metamorpho and somebody else. I forget who.
Mm.
But so like we got to hear from Cat Grant and we got to hear from Lombardi and like all these or Lombard, not Lombardi. Lombardi's the trophy. There's some like really interesting things coming out of that. The robots also practical. They are real. I mean, not real robots, but they are real props, which I think is neat.
They puppets? I didn't
Uh,
watch this. What you're talking about?
it's I don't know if they're like puppets or if they're like animatronics, but I think they're probably closer to animatronics. They do move. They are capable of moving.
Okay, interesting.
And then we got some really good looks at Hawkgirl and Metamorpho in like their full costumes, and I think that Metamorpho costume, first of all, entirely practical. It's not just him in a green suit, like I feel like a lot of recent Marvel movies would have done. Looks really good. Like, I mean, I don't know how many people are like huge Metamorpho fans. Certainly not me. I've seen him in nothing like ever. But he looks good. Like I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that James Gunn picked some like weirdo out of the backlog to be like, look at this guy. Look, check out Rex Mason.
Mm,
Because it's like in 100% his bag.
mhm.
But he looks really good. Like he genuinely looks like a character that I want to get to know, which is cool.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
excited. Do you think with Superman doing this, the vibes of Metropolis and then Fantastic Four coming out the same summer, if these movies do really well, do you think we're gonna see a shift in not just superhero movies, but movies in general, where it's like, well, make everything retro 60s. That's what the children yearn for now.
They yearn for the mines and the 60s. If the two things are successful, then absolutely, because they just always follow trends. That's what Hollywood does these days.
I
Um,
guess 60s for Fantastic Four, but like more 30s for Superman, really.
yeah, but
30s, 40s.
also like like aesthetically more 30s, but then technology wise more future-ish because like it's more modern
Yeah,
day in
you,
terms
you
of it's
blend
yeah
them.
there's a blend I guess. But I think the comparison point that I would make between what we've seen of these two movies is I think they're going to be the exact opposites tonality wise. It seems like the Fantastic Four is going to start very positive and get negative, like get darker as Galactus shows up and kills people and then potentially the planet
Mm.
is destroyed. And it looks like Superman might be exactly the opposite, where it's going to be like superheroes working for corporations and like darker things going on, and then Superman's going to come in and like be this voice of hope and this voice of change to like so I think it's going to be like Superman's going to start low and get high, and then Fantastic Four will sort of do the other thing.
Sounds awesome. I
And
want to get high with
yeah,
Superman.
I would always get high with specifically with David Cornsweet Superman. Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
brother, I love that guy. But in other news, Superman not the only person who celebrated a holiday. So did Star Wars. We had Star Wars Celebration this year in Japan, which is pretty cool because all of uh, the like Arabesh, the written language of Star Wars. One of the written languages that it's heavily based on is Japanese. It's like kanji and katakana, and so a lot of
Cool.
the like set design that they did for the celebration just looked very natural in Japan in that way.
Neat.
which is pretty cool. We got some interesting things coming out of this. We'll start with the movie side of it. Is hey, there's a Starfighter movie. It's called Star Wars Starfighter, and it's starring Ryan Gosling, and it's coming out May 28th, 2027. How you feel?
This is okay. I need to point out I saw Star Wars Celebration happen, and for some reason I didn't look into it at all.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
going to be telling me a lot of this stuff for the first
Well,
time.
that's really the only big thing. So this is going to be the one for you.
Okay, is this similar to that thing that Patty Jenkins was going to do and then stopped doing, and now is it this?
I
What's
could
going
not
on here?
possibly tell you that. I don't have that information.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
just it is a Starfighter movie. The only things that they've said about it is that it is completely separate from the Skywalker storyline, which is a good thing to say, but also is like, okay, we'll see. I don't believe they told us the time period. I would imagine it's in like the sequel trilogy era, just based on what I'm looking at. But we
well,
didn't see like anything of it other than like he's in an X-wing. Yeah,
the video game has a Naboo starfighter on it, so you know.
yeah, he does not fly a Naboo starfighter.
Bring
Um,
that ship back. That ship's cool, right?
it's all right. Yeah, I like the
I
X-wing
guess they
better,
did
but
bring
it's
it
pretty
back
cool.
for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I don't like it not yellow though. The silver version is like
Yeah,
really
the
nice.
yellow's the cool part.
Yeah. I will say, my immediate reaction to this was like, I bet if those sequel movies had done better, I bet this was going to be a Poe Dameron movie. Like this would be a Poe Dameron movie if those movies had performed better.
You're you're not necessarily wrong. So this is directed by Sean Levy.
I don't know who that is.
He's directed movies, but
Cool.
most recently, and this explains why he got this gig, Deadpool and Wolverine, which did very well.
Oh, well, he directed it, didn't write it. So I think direction wise, that movie was very good. The writing I could do without.
Well, yeah, but he's like best friends with Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is going to be in this movie. All right,
Oh
so
man, we can't have two
what
Ryans.
looking at Sean Levy's previous stuff,
Yeah.
he did 2003 Cheaper by the Dozen. You remember that movie?
I mean, yes, I don't
It's
see how
good.
it's particularly relevant here, but yeah, for sure.
He directed all of the Night at the Museum movies. Those aren't bad,
No, it's not
from what I remember.
it's not painting a great picture for me
All right,
though.
all right, all right. Hold up.
Any like
Real Steel, 2011. Hugh Jackman,
yeah, I
punch,
liked Real
fighting
Steel.
robots.
Yeah, that was pretty
That's a good
good.
movie.
Yeah, I don't
I like
remember
that
it
one.
well enough to be like, was it directed well or did I just enjoy it?
All right,
Um,
here's where I'm gonna lose you.
hmm
2021, Free Guy,
uh, yeah, he is friends with Ryan Reynolds, isn't he? What a disappointment.
and then the next year he did the Atom Project.
Is that the one with the kid from Percy Jackson in it?
I don't know.
I think the kid
Is
from
he
New
the new
Percy
Percy
Jackson.
Jackson?
Yeah, the new Percy Jackson, not Logan Lerman.
Oh, where Ryan Reynolds goes back in time to
Yeah, he
see
might
his
play a
little
young
stuff.
version of Ryan Reynolds. Actually, I didn't see it, but I just know
He
he's
might.
in that,
He
or I think
might.
he's
I
in that
don't know.
because I was looking him up and I was like, oh, he was in this thing. Cool, neat. Well, so yeah, I don't know. I think this movie has a chance of being good. I like the dogfights in Star Wars. So depending on what they do with that, it could be interesting. And I like Ryan Gosling. He's a really good actor. He's good. I'm interested to see where this goes. But yeah, we've gotten like so nothing to talk about with this one. Like they gave us nothing. Yes, Queen, give us nothing, and they did.
So yeah, Patty Jenkins, who famously directed both Wonder Woman movies, if
Yeah,
that's good or bad for you.
the first one was good and the second one was bad.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
She was gonna do. They announced like years ago that she was gonna do a Rogue Squadron movie,
yeah, and then
and
that fell through
then
like
that fell
a while ago.
through, I believe.
Yeah,
And then yeah, so that's why you could see why I was like, is this the same? Is this what that was gonna be?
I
Because
mean,
it's all about flying,
I would say yes and
all about
no.
flying an
Is like it
X-wing.
definitely feels that same niche. I don't think this will likely like have a like. I don't think there's going to be any like script overlap or whatever.
No.
But I guess what this does say is that like Disney wants specifically a starfighter movie. They want a movie where people fly the planes.
Here's
So
what I'm gonna say about Star Wars, right?
yeah,
I loved Star Wars as a kid. Like
yeah,
loved it. Like obsessed with
and
it.
he
Like
hates it now.
I got Phantom Menace toys. Like I still have them in a box
Uh huh.
next to the
Trash can.
no, next to the McDonald's Saban whatever that show was called toys.
Mystic Knights of
But I already forgot.
Tirnanog.
Mystic Knights of Tyranny. Yeah, that one. And then the sequel trilogy came out and then I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And now like I don't think anybody No, I'm not gonna say anybody because there's some scary people out there. But I think a lot of people are just kind of like done with Star Wars unless you can show me you're worth being around.
Yeah, like Andor.
That's true. Andor season 2 has started.
Andor season 1 was great. Andor season 2, from what I hear, also good. Haven't watched it yet. I think we're like 3 episodes in or something. Haven't watched it.
Um, I think what pisses me off most about Star Wars is not that sometimes they make shitty movies or shitty shows.
Sure.
It's they keep announcing things and then not making them. Like you
Yeah.
want me to be on board? Make a fucking movie, cowards.
Yeah. That's definitely part of my thing with this announcement, even, is that it's like, oh, this movie's coming out in the middle of 2027. You're telling me a specific release date right now? Like, you haven't even filmed the
Oh
bitch
yeah,
yet.
no,
Movies are
never,
crazy.
never trust of like one of the things that like the height of the superheroes, the MCU specifically,
Yeah.
did like announcing movies is the film slates and like in 2020 we're back in like 2014. They're like in 2020 we're gonna get this movie. And well, guess what? We got to 2020 and that movie didn't exist. Cyborg. There's gonna be a Cyborg movie in 2020. Don't announce shit
Yeah.
that far. I don't care. The release date doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But no, just make the movie. The fact that they said Ryan Gosling makes me think like, oh, are we far enough that we're doing casting already, or are you selling this movie because you got Ryan Gosling to be in it?
It's definitely the second one. I feel like they are
Yeah.
stunt casting for this movie.
Mm.
But I don't know. Like, if they do Top Gun but in space, I'm here for it. I think there's absolutely a Star Wars Top Gun crossover like marketplace that could definitely work
Sure.
out. Will this
There's
be that?
lots of dads
Who
out
knows?
there. Yeah.
Who knows?
Um,
But it definitely has
yeah.
me more excited than all the things that they've said about like, and we're gonna do another sequel or another trilogy,
Oh,
and it's gonna be
we're gonna
about like
do
Rey starting a new order. It's like, I don't really
starting it.
need all
Yeah.
that. This
No.
one has me more interested than that.
Side stories.
So
I got really upset that, they did Rogue One and
yeah,
some people liked it, some people didn't.
I liked it.
I think most fans were like okay with it at the
Yeah,
very least. I mean, everyone loved and screamed when Darth Vader was doing his thing, killing people.
yeah,
But
I
I
was like
think like
middlingly positive on
I
it.
think around 60 to 70% of people were like, hey, thumbs up at the very least. And
Hmm.
then the other people were like, it's just Star Wars. Like, yeah, I know, whatever. I don't disagree with the red letter media bits that they did, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
I just don't have
I
enough energy to hate it, I guess.
Rogue One, I think for me the it is the best movie that Disney has made in Star Wars yet, which is
I
not saying
still
a ton,
no,
but
I still think Force Awakens was their best one. They started off strong and then everything
I
went down from there.
I think it's I don't think Force Awakens for me is definitely number two. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's far off even, but I think a lot of the reason why I was positive on Force Awakens because I was like, oh, this sets up something interesting, and then that doesn't get
Yeah.
paid off,
So
and so I feel like it's standing on
hindsight,
its own. It doesn't hold up as
hindsight, it
well. Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah. No, that's fair.
So I don't know, but we got some other
But yeah.
announcements for Star Wars Celebration. Do you want to hear about
Oh,
those?
hit me.
They're
Me.
doing a Darth Maul show that's animated and voiced by Sam Witwer. Are we
Okay.
excited? Are we interested in that?
Good.
I like
Good
I
for
like Sam
Sam.
Witwer. People really fuck with Darth Maul in a way that I've never really understood. But cool for them. Great. Yeah. I don't know. He was a
Man,
cool design guy who had a cool lightsaber and did a neat fight. And I feel like people really latched onto that in like a dude bro, like, wow, look at the red guy with the horn sort of way. And then in Clone Wars, they
yeah.
did make him like a character, and he's good in that. So this could potentially continue that trajectory of like making this more of a character that I care about. But thus far, he's like, yeah, I don't really care about this guy.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be one that I watch like as soon as it comes out, but it definitely is something that I'd be interested in. I still need to watch. There's a lot of shows coming out right now that I still have to like get around to watching. Like, I still haven't watched Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I watched the first
Oh yeah.
two, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. On the video game side of things, they announced a couple of things that you won't be interested in until the very last one. So let me run through that. Number one, the next Fortnite season is Star Wars and will feature Darth Jar Jar.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I bet Ahmed Best is very happy.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be funny. Star Wars has obviously been in Fortnite before. They announced that that Palpatine wasn't dead in Fortnite, which is crazy to look back on. But here we are. They're doing another one. Maybe they'll announce something else for the movies as part of the season. I honestly would not even put it past them. That game Star Wars Outlaws is getting a new DLC story content thing. That is
Did people like that game?
People liked it, critics didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. And like internet trolls didn't because it featured a girl who they were like,
Oh
"Why
well.
isn't she hot?" And then it was like, "Okay, but she is kind of
Oh,
hot, actually." First of all, and second of all, shut up.
we make real women, and now it's not. All
Yeah,
right.
how dare you
That's
put a real woman in this video game? Anyway, the like big like glub shitto poll for this one is that they put Captain Hondo in this DLC. Do you remember Captain Hondo?
I do remember Captain Hondo.
He for audience, he's the weak wig random pirate guy from the Clone Wars TV show who was
He's
like
not
pretty cool, but he
random.
doesn't like show up a
He
ton.
he appears every once in a while, and then he
Yeah,
shows up in Rebels, and he has a full animatronic at Disneyland.
he's that's crazy. I didn't know that last part.
Yeah.
He is to Star Wars what, and I don't know the character's name, but the one like scrawny crack dealing black guy is to the Defenders shows.
Kirk?
Turk. Yeah,
He
that's
didn't
what he
deal
is.
crack. He did some light human trafficking at the very
Did he not
beginning,
sell drugs?
and then
I genuinely
and
thought he
then
sold drugs.
he might have sold drugs, but at the point that they realized they wanted him to be like the Netflix version of Coulson and show up and be the funny guy that connects everything, but then
Yeah,
gets beat up and runs away, they were like, well, we don't want him to be like kidnapping prostitutes anymore.
yeah, that's not great.
So just have him be an arms dealer. He can sell guns.
I will say, I love that guy. I think he was a lot of fun
No,
for those
he's
shows.
great.
Yeah.
He's great.
So yeah,
He
yeah,
should come back.
he should.
Spoilers. Spoilers. He does not appear in Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, no, I feel like I would have heard about it if it did. Weirdly.
He should come back in season 2.
More video game
Or,
information.
or the Punisher special that they're gonna do, and Punisher just blows his head off.
Oh, please don't. More video game information. They're putting out a new update for SWOTOR. That's Star Wars.
Online.
Yeah, it is Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is the BioWare Star Wars MMO that is based on Knights of the Old Republic video games. It's good. I've played it before. I've never like finished the storyline of it, and I'm genuinely like, wow, they're still supporting that. Like that's pretty cool. I'm happy for that because it's definitely one that
Sure.
I want to go back and like actually play at some point. So hopefully it survives long enough for me to do that.
What year did it come out?
That's a good question. But the biggest thing that was announced in terms of video games was something that we like already kind of knew about. It had leaked a while ago, but it's a video game called Star Wars Zero Company, and it is just Star Wars XCOM. It is a tile-based strategy game, squad-based strategy game, but with Star Wars characters, where you are taking on the role of some guy called like Commander Hawks or something, and you are putting together a ragtag team of losers to do something somewhere. They really didn't tell us a ton about the story, but we saw a little bit of gameplay of it, and it's literally just XCOM.
That's
It
fine.
looks like there are Jedi and like clone troopers and droids. They say that it's taking place during the twilight of the Clone Wars, which is when everything takes place. So here we are.
I-
And the only thing worth noting here is so it's being made by EA, Respawn, and a team called Bit Reactor. And Bit Reactor is a team that has been created by former Firaxis, the XCOM guys, employees. So it is being made basically by the XCOM team. So that's cool. It's cool. I really
Cool.
like those games. What we've seen of it looks very bare bones, which makes sense. It's a very small team now. So hopefully they pull it together. Because what I saw of this so far didn't like blow me away. But I love
Do you
XCOM,
think
so here we go.
do you think the fact that it was Star Wars Celebration was they went down to the basement that they had all these devs chained up in?
Yeah.
And they're like, you have to have something to show us by then. And they were like, you just hired us 2 months ago. And they're like, we don't care. You have to have something to
I
show
could
us.
definitely see Disney doing that, but no, we've been hearing rumors of this for like upwards of a year now. So,
Okay. All
so
right. Well, if that's good, that's cool.
it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to. It's on my radar of like when that comes out, I will look into playing it unless it absolutely looks like ass by the
Yeah.
time
Well,
it hits the stores.
you and I famously love XCOM, so
Yeah, probably one of the games that we've played together the most. So, but let's finally get out of this movie talk. Movies are for nerds, as Red Letter Media
true.
famously said. F movies, dude.
That's
Time
true.
for video games, and all the video game news is super positive. Like the fact that Steam is in real hot water. I think I sent you part of this, but there's more to it. And I'm gonna have to talk around parts of it because it's dark.
Oh,
So the log line is Steam has finally removed 2 video games from their catalog, from their store.
yeah.
Yeah, here we go. That one of which is a school shooting simulator, and the other one is a sexual assault simulator. Now, you may be asking, Daniel, how did those even get on Steam? Good question. My question, too. Here's the thing. The reason they got on there is because there is basically no verification process or clearance or whatever to put games on Steam. You prove to them that you are a video game developer, quote unquote, and they will let you do it, and then they don't seemingly look at it ever again. And so they don't know what's on their service or on their storefront until, like for these two games, people get real mad about it, and then they pull it down. So that covers their ass a certain amount. The weird part is the school shooting one has been uploaded like multiple times and taken down multiple times under like different pseudonyms. Yeah. So it's weird. So it will be back under a different name at some point at some time. Mm-hmm. The sexual assault one, which is grosser. It's weird to say, like, I'm not going to qualify which one is worse between a school shooter and a sexual assault game. There's no like, oh, this is Hitler. Well, that's super Hitler. But I will say, like, that one has been taken down. But the weird thing is, at least the last time I pulled up the information, it may have changed by now, it was only taken down in Canada and Australia. Like, it's still up. The UK is pushing to have it pulled down. And the US, I think, is, but like, seemingly Steam was just like, okay, we'll take it down in the areas where people didn't like it. They didn't like find out, oh my God, someone put a sexual assault simulator up on our storefront. We should do something about that. They said, oh, well, these people are complaining. Let's remove it from just those people, which is crazy.
This may come as a shock. I don't have a lot of positive things to say about this story.
There isn't anything positive to say about this story. There's nothing.
It's the fact that some edgelord made, well, I guess two edgelords, right? Because these are two different things.
Yeah.
Made these things, and they just, I don't know. It's all a game. It's all a joke, and then people try to defend, like, oh, you're censoring art. This isn't art, dude. This is just, you're just trying to offend people. And I don't know why you need to. And then the amount of other shitty edgelords in the comments that are like, oh, you can't even sexually assault women in video games anymore because of woke. It's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody wants this.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
You're a sad, pathetic person.
Steam needs to do better, frankly. These sort of things should not be allowed onto their storefront, period. And there's a lot of issues with Steam. I think Steam is the worst storefront I have interacted with. To be fair, I have not interacted with a lot of the like smaller PC marketplaces that are apparently also terrible and apparently maybe even worse. But I think Steam is awful. There are so many just like trash shovelware nonsense games put on there every single day that it is impossible. If you don't know the game you are going to buy, you're not going to find it. Like, you're not going to stumble across your next favorite game on Steam. It's not going to happen. Discoverability is impossible on that platform. And because of that, games like this, of which I'm confident there's dozens of other ones that are similarly bad, just buried, that people haven't found yet, just slip through the cracks and then they sit on there. But then Steam finds out about them and they still don't take them down until people complain about it. And then even then, only in the regions where the people are complaining the loudest. Like, what are you doing? What are we talking about? Like, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely stunningly ridiculous. I will never understand it. I'm just not a big fan of Steam. And this is probably the singular biggest reason why. To throw very awkwardly away from the worst thing happening in Steam right now to something a lot more positive is, hey, the Oblivion remaster is what they're calling it. It's real and it's out, and I'm very excited about it. I think it looks really good. Here are sort of the big takeaways for it. Number one, it's this like really great union of the Creation Engine and the Unreal Engine. So a lot of people have, for some reason, an issue with the Creation Engine. They're like, oh, I don't like the jank, which is, I think, a ridiculous thing to say because all engines have jank. I don't even think Creation Engine has more jank than other things. But what I will say is that it doesn't necessarily look the prettiest. It's like lighting and stuff definitely needs a lot more work. And that's the one area I would say in which Unreal shines the most. And so what they've done is they've taken the creation engine bones and basically thrown Unreal Engine skin over the top. So you get all the physics and the ability to interact with every object in the world with a skin of pretty lighting and nice textures from Unreal over it. And I think that is the perfect solution. The negative to it is that that seems to be the reason why the game is 120 gigs, which is huge for a video game. That's like Call of Duty size.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. So that's definitely like one of the like probably the one negative that I would say about this union of the two engines. But I mean, if this is something that they want to do going forward, granted, this isn't Bethesda who made this. This is a team called Virtuous. They are a French team that has been doing a lot of remakes lately, and they've been doing a great job of it. They're doing the Metal Gear Delta that's been getting a lot of buzz. It's like a remake of Snake Eater. They're strongly rumored to also be working on a Fallout 3 remaster. So if that is the case, which we have to assume it is,
I think seeing this is like that's a shoo-in.
yeah, yeah. And it was that the Fallout 3 remaster was leaked in the same way that this was leaked, so it seems pretty locked, but just hasn't been officially announced yet. But yeah.
Well, I hope they announce it like they announced this, where it's like it's here and go play it.
Yeah. This one did leak a lot like beforehand, and people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that this was like spoiled, and then we didn't get to have it like shockingly announced." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know that I really care either way." And frankly, it probably did a lot of good for it marketing wise because they basically got free marketing from all these YouTube channels being like, "Oh my god, this thing leaked and check this thing." Like, so I don't know, it probably weirdly worked out for them. But it's being called a remaster instead of a remake because it is still the original code of Oblivion underneath that paint job, that Unreal Paint job.
Oh yes, it is undoubtedly still Oblivion.
And so it's got a lot of that like jank and stuff that is from. I mean, this game is 20 years old. It has a lot of that jank of being like the first PC RPG to make its way over to consoles. You can definitely feel that. I've only played a couple minutes of it because I've been very busy. But you definitely know. What I will say is they've also gone and added a lot of like UI and quality of life changes that I think will mitigate some of that. So they went back and they like added things like sprinting and made the map usable. They made the combat feel a little bit better. They added better animation. They added new voice lines so that there's not just like the one character saying the same thing over and over and over again across like all of the characters in a city, which is what it was originally. Although all of those original voice lines do still exist and are probably still being played, I imagine, more often than you would see in a modern video game. But every single thing that I'm hearing about this is people being very, very happy with it. It is a faithful rendition of this game without, like, it does everything people want it to do, but doesn't change so much that people are, like, upset with the changes of it, which is, I think, like, the perfect way to do a remake. It makes me feel very happy to know that they are also working on Fallout 3, which is, for me, a game that I care about more. Although I love Oblivion, I think Fallout 3 is, like, a way bigger game for me personally. So if this is the same people working on it, hell yeah, super happy about it. Can't wait to play. I watched the announcement trailer for this, and there's that bit at the beginning where Patrick Stewart as the Emperor is like, he says like, "Go now and slam shut the jaws of Oblivion," and I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, Captain." Like it was a call to arms for me. I was like, ready to go from the second he said that and had it installing before the trailer even stopped playing, basically. So very happy about it, very excited that this is a real thing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have it. That's what I'll be playing for the next week or so.
Yeah. Did you have a big history with Oblivion when it first came out?
No, definitely not when it first came out. I have played it before, but my first Elder Scrolls game was Skyrim back in like what, 20, that was 2012, right?
2011, but
2011,
November of 2011, so like really close.
November of 2011. Yeah. So, I did not grow up playing Morrowinds and Oblivion, or God forbid Daggerfall. So yeah. It's good to go back. My history with Oblivion is every time I start to play it, I'm just like, kind of wish I was playing Skyrim. So this is a good excuse to like just hunker down and let's play some Oblivion right now. So I'm happy it's here.
For sure. I think this is great. I'm very happy about it. People were like, "Oh, it's weird that they're launching this like in such a crowded marketplace because it's launching like pretty close to Expedition 33, which is also getting great reviews, by the way."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so people were like, "Oh, it's weird that they're doing this." Both of those games are performing extremely well, both critically and in terms of sales. So I don't think it's really hurt either of them. And the rumor is that the reason they're putting this one out now is because the Fallout 3 one, they want to come out pretty close to the launch of Fallout, the second season of the Fallout show, which is coming out next year.
That
And
would
so
make a
they
lot of
want it to
sense.
like, they want to have like basically a full year to get it because they're shooting, or I think about to start shooting or something.
Mhm,
They're filming for season 2 of that now.
mhm, mhm.
Um, so that's what all the rumors are saying. So hopefully that works out. But yeah, it's been a good like couple months for video games lately. Like there's been some really good stuff coming out the last couple of months, and I feel like this is just like the cherry on top of like.
Yeah,
And also we're re-releasing one of the most hallmark RPGs of all time. Here we go.
yeah. There you go.
So super excited about it. Um, it's like it's also a weird timing for me because this was a really big game for me as a kid, and also right now there's like a resurgence of people going into another huge game from my childhood, Guild Wars. It just hit its 20th year anniversary, and so they're doing a whole event where they're like sending people. They never shut down servers for the original Guild Wars, even though Guild Wars 2 exists, which is awesome. It's crazy that they did that, but I love it.
Mhm.
And so because it's the 20-year anniversary, they're like telling people like, "Hey, we're going to add new stuff to it. We're going to basically unvault like all the pre-order type stuff that was locked away and like super impossible to get without like paying some scammer on eBay to get a code. We're going to unvault all that and just put it in the game in a place where you can like earn it." And so there's this huge resurgence of people going back to Guild Wars 2. And so it's like, wow, two of the biggest games from my like 20 when I was like 12 or 13 are just exploding back onto the scene in a way that I'm so excited and happy about.
Everything's coming up, Daniel.
It's a good time to be me in particular. I'm very happy about it. Uh, but yes, I think that's all that we have for today's show.
Yeah,
Uh,
no main topic.
no main
We
topic.
talked
There
too
was
much
enough
about other
news
stuff.
to cover everything else. But we'll definitely have some interesting games and stuff to add on to these in the future. So don't be too sad, viewers. Uh, but thank you very much for watching all the way until the end of the video. If you're here, please subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. We need all the support we can get. You can follow the show on Twitter at @RSR_POD. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Daniel J. McGee.
You can follow me on Blue Sky at Skyler 8-bit.
And until next time, everybody, we'll see you around.
The game's just starting, the world's so bright. Jump right in, everything